So right now, I guess you're all aware of this news. In a deeply disturbing incident, a young couple who worked for the Israeli embassy were shot dead outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States. Now, it's not like this couple had enmity with someone or got into a fight. They were just killed because they were Jewish. And after their brutal death, the suspects screamed pro-Palestinian slogans, and the whole incident was very disturbing. So let's break down this incident in simple terms. What exactly happened? Who were the victims? And why is this attack drawing international condemnation? And what are its broader implications? Well, on Wednesday night, around 9 p.m., gunshots rang out outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. Police arrived at the scene to find two victims, 30-year-old Yaron Lischinsky and 26-year-old Lynn Milgrim, both unconscious and not breathing. Both were later declared dead. According to eyewitnesses, the shooter was seen pacing outside the building before opening fire on a group of 4 people exiting the museum. He then entered the building, reportedly distressed, only to later confess to the shooting while chanting slogans like "Free Palestine" and "I did this for Gaza." And here's the video.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
The very sad thing about this murder is that Yaron and Sarah were about to get engaged very soon, but their story ended very brutally. Now, this man is identified as Elias Rodriguez, a 31-year-old from Chicago, who has now been taken into custody. His background is now under intense scrutiny. Reports are coming in that he recently worked at the American Osteopathic Information Association and earlier at the History Makers, a research institution. His online posts and public records suggested he was involved in several pro-Palestinian movements, and previously he was also associated with a fringe communist group called the Party for Socialism and Liberation. The group has since distanced itself from him, but they all will be interrogated. This incident is not only being treated as a double homicide, but also potentially a hate crime or even a terror attack. Police say they had no prior interactions with him, and nothing in his record raised any red flags before the incident. But in my previous video, I already told you that this may happen because there were clearly visible signs that young people in the U.S. are being brainwashed to commit things that are just pure terrorism. Last year, several college students burned U.S. flags. There were huge protests, vandalism of public property, and now 2 people were killed because they were Jewish. On New Year's Eve, also, a U.S. Army veteran with an ISIS flag ran his truck over innocent people in New Orleans. Another shot himself inside a Tesla truck before setting it to blast in front of the Trump International Hotel. So the signs were clear that homegrown terrorism is increasing in the U.S. Even recently, 4 to 5 days back, a fertility clinic was bombed in Palm Springs, which investigation agencies declared as an act of terrorism. Now, after the brutal murder of Israeli diplomats, several world leaders and personalities also reacted to it. President Trump said in a statement on his Truth Social platform that it was an act of anti-Semitism and condemned hate-based radicalism. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer also condemned the anti-Semitic attack on the diplomats. But I will come to him shortly. Germany's Foreign Minister Johann Wadefuhl also said, "Nothing can justify anti-Semitic violence." The Israeli embassy to the U.S. said they are heartbroken and devastated by the murder of their colleagues. France's foreign minister, India's foreign minister, and several other ministers also condemned the attack. FBI Director Kash Patel labeled it a potential act of terrorism and said the Bureau will continue pursuing every lead until justice is served. Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu called the murders horrifying and ordered increased security at Israeli missions worldwide. Meanwhile, Israel's foreign minister blamed growing international anti-Israeli rhetoric, particularly from Europe, for fueling this climate. Because in recent days, European leaders came out in huge support of Palestine. And here you can also see the official joint statement of UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney, and France's President Emmanuel Macron, showing full support to Palestine and condemning the current Israeli administration of Benjamin Netanyahu for the absolute violence. And here's a short clip of Benjamin Netanyahu reacting to the same.
I say to President Macron, Prime Minister Carney, and Prime Minister Starmer, when mass murderers, rapists, baby killers, and kidnappers thank you, you're on the wrong side of justice. You're on the wrong side of humanity. And you're on the wrong side of history.
Now, this incident cannot be seen in isolation. It comes amid rising global tensions around Gaza. Well, right now, as you know, Israel is doing heavy bombing in Gaza. The Palestinian topic is trending all over the internet, and many people who are still alive in Gaza are saying they are being starved. So the situation is very tense there. And let me remind you, this war will soon complete its second year, but still Israel cannot get rid of Hamas. So Israel is applying a cruel method of starvation, where it has no intention to provide any kind of aid to Gaza people. Now, many people support this to bring Hamas to their knees, and many people also oppose it because, according to them, this is morally not right. President Trump, in a recent interview, also stated that this is very bad, but still the U.S. will always continue to help Israel until Hamas is totally finished. Now, it totally depends on you which side you're on, but what's happening in Gaza has an effect all over the world, especially in the Western world where there are increasing anti-Semitic incidents and an aggressive wave of online radicalization. People are calling this a Muslim brotherhood, and outside of Israel, the condition of Jewish people is very dangerous, and they're being targeted everywhere. Now, the event outside the museum was actually focused on humanitarian responses in the Middle East, with speakers invited from both sides. The idea was to turn pain into purpose, but instead, the event was marred by violence and tragedy. And I'm telling you, these kinds of attacks will keep increasing until the U.S. government takes very harsh measures. The brainwashing of young U.S. citizens is happening on a large scale. Deportation of illegal and even legal immigrants is already a hot topic, and people are heavily divided on that issue. Guns are easily available, so the U.S. needs some serious changes if they want to stop this kind of pure terrorism. So, what are the broader implications? Will this incident lead to stricter domestic terrorism laws? Will it affect pro-Palestinian activism in the U.S., especially when radical voices hijack the cause? And how will it shape Israel-U.S. diplomatic relations, especially during an already sensitive time? We will continue to monitor developments as this story unfolds. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you all have a wonderful day.